Okay, so I was asked how I do my 2-minute podcast as far as the intro, outro. This may be helpful for folks when doing podcasting. I have a template for my Andrew Rappaport's Rap Report Daily, and you can see it right here. So when I open this, basically what you're going to see is it brings up Audacity, which is what I use for my recording and editing. And as you can see here, we have this, or I already have this set. It goes to exactly 2 minutes. People wonder, how do I get exactly to 2 minutes? Well, because I already start with it already set in place. Now, I want you to notice that this here, if I just play this, okay, that's where the music is. I mute this to start. So when I come in, I already have my marker right at the spot where the music is fading out. And I will record from that spot. Well, I'll try to get as close as I can to here. I don't always get perfectly, but you're going to get to see how well I do this time. So the point being is when I come in, I'm going to do Shift R when I record. Why? Because when you go to record with this, let's see, I forget where the button is for the record. But when you go to record, basically the Shift R is going to be to record to a new track. And that's what I want to be able to do. I don't want to record to the same track. I want to record to a new track. And you'll see that it will open a new track down here. Now, one of the things that I do is I want to transcribe my podcast. And so I use Otterly, and that is otter.ai. These are my podcast transcripts. And so I'm going to start recording, and you guys can listen to exactly how I do a recording. So today's challenge that we have is the question, if God is omnipresent, will he be in hell forever? Now let's first start with what omnipresent means. Omnipresent means that God is everywhere present. In other words, there is nowhere that you can go where God is not present. Now there's a falsehood that many teach. Many people teach that God is absent from hell. God is not in hell. And when people go to hell, they will spend eternity without God's presence because God cannot be in the presence of sin. Well, that's actually not true. Just read the book of Job, and Satan himself has to appear before God. Clearly, God can be in the presence of sin. God being omnipresent means he's even here on earth. And yes, there's sinners here too. Don't let the unbelievers know because, well, they think the only hypocrites are in the church. Well, right, that's right. The church is filled with people that believe that they're sinners saved by grace. So when they sin, yeah, okay. It's when the unbelievers sin, when they say they're good. But that aside, what you end up seeing is what we see in hell is not the absence of God's presence, but the absence of a relationship with God. God will be in hell. God's being in hell will actually be even worse, because what we'll see is that God in hell is the reality that they are without a relationship with him, and that will make it all the much worse. I did pretty good there. Let me stop this. So what I now do is I go into here, and I will be able to edit this, though I got to get rid of that part, and I will put that into my show notes. But here's what we end up doing. You notice that it doesn't line up completely, but I have some pause in the beginning. So a quick way of editing that I do is just grab this first part and hit delete. The delete button will delete that. It's gone. But now it doesn't line up so well over here. What you can do is take this time shift tool, click on this button up here, and that allows you to shift this over. Now, if you are not trying to do a podcast that's exactly 2 minutes like I do, and by the way, if folks want to know the secret, I have all this room to go over, and I can still line it up. If I have trouble, I have things like right here. This is probably me breathing. Yep, I could have just gotten rid of that. So I have the room all here that I can edit if I need to shift this. But the time shift tool, if you're not tied to a specific time like I am, you can have your template come in, you can do your recording, and then you could time shift this ending all the way over to wherever you need it to be. Now, just a quick thing that I do for editing purposes, you see how this has gone a little bit high. I don't want to hit people's, to have it clipping. I use a thing called Compress Dynamics, and this is basically going to compress it. It's going to set all the levels exactly as I want it. I got this from Daniel J. Lewis. I can give you the information on how to get that plugin. One of these things of Audacity, lots of plugins. You see that kind of gets it down to where it's already decided that I want it to be. I just need now to unmute these and export, and then I am done. So if you're looking to just record, especially if you have a mono, create a template like this where you have your intro, your outro, it's already set, and all you have to do is record it. Keep your thing right here wherever you want that music to start. I suggest you keep it muted just as when you come in, only because, well, when you start recording, the music's going to pick up, and that can be confusing. You can unmute it later before you export it. And the thing by doing this is your intro, your outro already here. You can then do the time shift to move your outro to the end. And the nice thing about it, if you do the time shift, you'll see, if you want it to line up perfectly, see that yellow line that shows up. That yellow line shows you right where those two are matched up. I want to back off just a little bit, and that's what I do. I hope this was helpful for you. If you are looking to do just some basic podcasting and you have an intro and outro and you just need to basically just record and you want the outro at the end, this is a helpful way to do it. I hope this is something that you find valuable. For those who are Christian podcasters, check out the Christian podcast community, and maybe you could get more training like this as well. Thank you very much.